Hey everyone. Just a little update sort of thing for you here. And yeah, you may have noticed I am not at my usual set right now. So at the same time I'm doing this, I'm also shooting the box segments for this year's Silent Movie Day episode. And it's a bit of a gag. It may not be a successful one, but I guess if it's not, it would still fit anyway. But you'll find out when that episode drops. And I should note, Silent Movie Day, Sunday, September 29th. I may not have this episode finished by then, let alone for the regular Thursday release date, Wednesday for Patreon. And that is because I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that my release schedule is getting more and more sparse. So I did one of these little updatey things at the beginning of this year, and the plan at the time was to put out a new regular archive episode every third week. Well, as I'm sure most of you have seen, it went down to every fourth week, and now maybe every fifth week. And that is because I am down to, I think, putting in about 15 hours a week making archive. And so in the name of having anything to release most of the time, it's me just pumping out Ben's junk videos, just because I can do those pretty quickly generally. And yeah, the reason I am down to about 15 hours a week is, and I've discussed this before, I don't like to dwell on it a whole lot publicly, but my father has dementia, has for a long time now. And I mentioned in my last State of the Archive address thing at the beginning of the year that it was really overpowering. I really just kind of powered through the end of 2023 on just sheer force of will, and was trying to finish up a lot of my long-term projects because I knew that, it was going to get a lot tougher real quick, and it did. So yeah, for example, my days keep getting longer and longer. So I officially only have him 5 days a week during business hours, but for the longest time there would be maybe an hour or so in the morning where you could kind of leave him alone, so mom could head off to work and I could come in about an hour later. But now there needs to be a certain overlap. And so that means I am now coming in at 6 a.m. And I'm also like cooking dinner and stuff and trying to get everybody settled at the end of the day. So by the time I get back to Archive HQ, I've already put in a 12 or 13 hour day. So shock of shocks, I'm not working a whole lot. So anyway, the plan right now is, if you want to count the Silent Movie Day episode, 4 more regular episodes for 2024. Silent Movie Day, I hope to do just some short and kind of quasi-art film, albeit much simpler than in recent years, for Halloween. Something for Thanksgiving, kind of one of our now traditional best of episodes, or some sort of viewer poll episode, something like that. And then a Christmas special. But none of them may get released before their proper date. So, I mean, for example, the Christmas thing may drop on December 30th. Who knows? But that's just kind of where we're at right now. So with the whole dementia thing, there are unofficially 7 stages. This is what you most commonly read on the internet. So he is firmly in stage 6 right now. We have some kind of lingering after effects of stage 5, but we're also seeing the first of stage 7, which is where the body shuts down and ultimately the inevitable happens. So yeah, it's been, my days have kind of felt like me trying to just start to slowly wind things down. And if we have a good day, we have a good day, and I just try and roll with it. But boy, the bad days have really gotten far worse. We're well into the point of agitation, a couple of bouts of violence. We had one back on appropriately Friday the 13th, which involved him kind of trying to shove me around and screaming at me, and and not really knowing why necessarily. So yeah, it's kind of been tough for me mentally, as one might expect. I've been finding myself experiencing very nasty mood swings, from extremely angry to extremely sad, and only kind of averaging out when I've been at Archive HQ for an hour or two, or it's a Saturday or something. Then I start to level out again. So there's that going on. And I'll tell you right now, there is going to come a point where I'm probably just going to have to straight up shut Archive down for a month or more when we get to that very end stage, to just handle death, I guess you might as well say, funeral stuff and all that. So unfortunately, that is just by nature where we are heading. So I will try not to go too much farther. Before you ask, putting him in a nursing home, believe me, Mom and I have 98 reasons to put him in one, but we got 2 reasons not to, and those 2 outweigh the 98. So one is, to be blunt, financial. We just can't afford it. And 2, this may apply more to me than Mom, but he still recognizes us to some degree most days. And on his best days, he does understand that I am his son, my mom is his wife. And I want to just kind of be there for that and just try and ride it out. I don't think I'd be able to live with myself if I didn't ride it as far as I could. So we do have options for things like home hospice. Granted, I think we get like 30 or 60 days. So we really have to be strategic about it. But yes, that's where we're at right now. This could take mere weeks. This could go on for several more years, which is actually probably my greatest fear of all. But it's out of my hands, so to speak. So before this gets any more depressing, I'm just going to stop here and stop before I stop making some degree of sense. So yes, this is where we're at, unfortunately. And yes, it's going to mean a lot more Ben's Junk videos and ultimately a temporary shutdown altogether. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll talk to you again soon.